Morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be, across the planet and around the world. You're tuned into another episode of Zentasia Spirit Chat. And tonight we're going to be talking about the power of surrendering. So, what is surrendering? It's basically letting go of control, resistance, or attachment to a particular outcome. This is going to be a little bit more difficult to do if you're a type A personality, because those types of personalities tend to be controlling. You may ask yourself, sounds like a Talking Heads song, and the days go by. You might ask yourself, what are the benefits of surrendering, and who are we surrendering to? Some of the benefits of surrendering include reducing stress and anxiety, increasing clarity and focus, improving relationships, and enhancing creativity and tuition. And who are we surrendering to? Whatever greater power for you that you believe in. For me, it's creator or source or universe. Now, surrendering can be difficult, especially for those who are used to being in control or who have a hard time letting go of their expectations. Some common challenges may include fear, doubt, and resistance. The most important thing you can do when surrendering is to let go of your need to control and trust in the present moment rather than worrying about the future or dwelling on the past. You can envision yourself falling backwards, knowing that Creator is going to catch you. I'll never forget the day I surrendered, and I've surrendered many times in the past, but this was the most significant one. At the time, I was a child and family therapist for at-risk youth. I developed a patent-pending program for families who are at risk of dissolution, children who are going through the reunification process, and for parents in need of parenting classes. The area's largest human services organization approved of my program, and I was working it in a 3-county area, but I knew there was something greater I needed to do. So that night, I surrendered and got what I can only call a galactic download that basically told me to build in5d.com, which I did from scratch through HTML coding that I taught myself. I was even given the name in5d in this download. And I remember checking online to see if the URL was available, and sure as shit, it was. And that's why we're all here right now. Shortly after this download, Allie began visiting me in my dreams. So as you can see, the power of surrendering can bring you amazing things. And it's brought all of us together on In5D and Zentasia. So thank you, universe. And without any further ado, let's bring in our friends for the chat. Hello, 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 hello. See, Allie's got an empty chair. I see Lisa and Vera, and can't see anything on Susie's end.
Hi, Greg. Hi, Vera.
And there's Jeremiah. Hi, everyone.
Hi, I'm having problems with my camera.
Welcome to Zentasia. Welcome to the Spirit Chat. And tonight's topic is the power of surrendering. And like I mentioned before, if it wasn't for surrendering on that one particular night in 2008, none of us would be here. And like I said, shortly afterwards, that's when Allie started visiting me in my dreams after I surrendered. So for me, it was a very important time in my life and one of the most important things I've ever done. So I want to say hi to everyone. Let's see, Susie's trying to get in here. But we have Jeremiah and Lisa.
You put the camera on and I wasn't ready.
Oh.
In.
I'm sorry. Hi, baby. Hi, Allie.
Hello.
Hi, Vera and Susie.
Hi. Hello. I'm waving.
We can't see you.
I'm having some problems with my camera, so.
Oh, well, we can hear you.
Well, yeah, maybe we had that when we had a reading together. You had that too.
It was
you went out and back in and it was gone.
Yeah.
we're going to give a quick shout out to people who have joined us in the chat. We have Richard there joining us on Facebook. That's a new name. How are you, Richard? Valerie. And Linda Wenger. She's a regular. And yeah. Who would like to start it off on surrendering? Vera's got her finger up.
I'll give.
Not a hand.
I'll give-
Just a finger. Yeah, it's all you.
Well, some in the group? No. I've been through a lot of things, a lot of situations on all kinds of levels. And then you can keep fighting against the stream or just stop rowing against the stream. And a lot of people might find it scary, but just let you go on that stream of water. Follow it. Because the things that are on your path are not upstream, but downstream. So if you keep, besides that, it's exhausting. And I do feel the need, because you don't have to surrender to everything. If someone is disrespectful to you, you can let the person know they are disrespectful, but you cannot change the person. To that you can surrender, but you're not giving in. Because with everything, I've been in an area where everything was set up against me. And the only thing I could do is basically go with that stream, make sure I don't hit any boulders. And then eventually you get into calmer waters. That's my take on it.
What were the benefits for you for surrendering then in that situation?
Well, like picture a group that just wants to make sure you don't get outside of your house. You can get out with your fist and fight your way out, but they cannot be there 24/7. Pick the times to get out. And then show them, no matter what you do, you don't control me. And I just walked. Yeah, shorter walks until I was able to get out of that area. So I was way less tired, because you don't have to keep walking looking over shoulder. Well, I get that feeling in my back, so I don't have to turn my head. And I could just continue to live with them, with everything that's going on. So going against the stream, just picture it. You have fast streaming water. When you start to swim against it, you eventually get so tired, it takes you in the direction you need to go. So, to me, the benefit, you can save that energy that you were using to fight upstream to look downstream. Oh, that's beneficial for me. That is you get to pick without the control. Go with the flow. Yep.
In psychology, that was my major, master's and BA and everything. But they say that people who are type A controlling personalities, it's because there's usually something within themselves that's out of control. And that's why a lot of times type A personalities have a hard time surrendering. And I find that, most people who are in this spiritual genre are type B personalities. So it's a lot easier for many of us.
I've had that episode of controlling everything. Literally, I would get out of the house, check a ton of times everything, if I had turned the gas off, if I had closed the door, if I'd done this and this. And I was eventually so exhausted from it. Yes, I can check, make sure the door is closed, and then just walk away.
What was it in your life that was out of control at that time?
I had no say in anything. People just told me, this is good for you. You better do it this way because that's the only thing, because you like it. And I hated what they suggested. It was not my thing.
Mm-hmm.
And if I said I was fed up with something, yeah, but that's because you chose to do that. No. Everything I said, they said the opposite. They told me it was good. They told me, you can do this. Well, with this, I need help. Because that's difficult for me. And they told me, well, that's easy. You can do that. And the things I said, I like to do that because I love to do that. Yeah, but that's way too difficult for you. We'll do that. And it would be taken out of hands. So your focus gets on making sure your door is locked, walking back 10 times to make. And then when I lived on my own, I was just so fed up with all that, all these rituals I had. I just made the decision to stop it. And I went.
The weight of the world lifts off your shoulders when you don't have that worry and that control. Because it's like I said in the intro, you've fallen backwards and creator or source or whatever your higher power is going to catch you. Yeah. Thank you for sharing, Vera. I want to make sure everybody gets a chance to speak here. Is somebody else, would someone else like to explain or share their experiences with surrendering?
I can.
All right. Well, Lisa lifted her hand first. Sorry, Susie.
All right. No, that's okay.
But glad you got the camera working though.
I need to clean it. Other one. It's like I'm in a dirty room.
It's
smoke-filled
foggy.
Room.
Yeah. So Lisa, what you got for us? How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. Somebody did a healing for me and it helped me immensely. It was a sovereignty healing. I don't know if you can hear me or not.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay. Yeah, well, one of my healer friends did a sovereignty healing, and it like one of those I do not consent healings, and it was pretty profound.
Mm-hmm.
We were exchanging healings and stuff, but I like surrendered. Like sometimes it's in seemingly like smaller ways, but it has a big effect. Like when I had to go to see the neurosurgeon recently, but I couldn't bring myself to go into the building. My legs locked up and I literally couldn't stand. It was a wobbly day that day. I couldn't get out of my car. I think it was February 29th. That's what day it was. And I just couldn't go. And they sent nurses down to help me and it's a neurosurgery building. So I thought there'd be wheelchairs, right? No, there wasn't any wheelchairs. They said they went and looked, the nurses went and looked at everything. Then they tried to bring me up there. But I was so concerned that that they, you know, wouldn't be able to take me up there that I just froze. I just sat in my car and I said, well, can he just do it by video and he can see me from the window, right? Doesn't it count as a in-person, because you can see me from the window, right?
Right.
And they said, oh, we don't know. He says you have to go to the emergency room and da 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 da. And I'm like, I didn't go there, so I went home, and I'm glad I did, right? It was a weird day. They were good. There was nothing wrong with them. It was just a really weird day. They're connected with the hospital, so I guess they didn't have any wheelchairs and stuff happened. But I was so unnerved by it. I think I was triggered. I know it wasn't them. Maybe I wasn't meant to go in that building. Maybe it just wouldn't have been beneficial and even more stressful had I gone in there for whatever reason. But I didn't go, and I finally that evening I just surrendered it. I just got in meditation, and I just said, please take the stress off me and turn it into a beautiful gift. Let everything that happened today turn into a beautiful gift for me and for all concerned. And I just let go of it. And I felt like the stress just kind of like melt off of me. And I felt most of the vice grip go away off of me. I felt like a vice grip on the back of my neck, and I felt it like dissolve mostly. And then when I spoke with them to follow up with them, with the neurosurgeon, they said that it was okay for me to go there in telehealth. And I said, for the next meeting in April, and I said, I'm happy to do the extra MRI scans of the rest of my spine if you want me to, but I do know all of this is coming from my neck. And I told them why. And I said, I have anxiety. And I said, I have a hip and stuff like that. And I said, I'm just really wobbly from, what's going on in my cervical spine and my neck causes a lot of dizziness and vertigo, right? And so does stress for me anyway. And they just laughed. They were really friendly. And they said, don't worry about it. We're not even going to charge you the copay or anything. We're just going to reschedule you for April 17th, in the afternoon. And I was like, really? Thanks. And I wasn't charged or anything. And I think that is like when I just let go and handed it up to the universe. And it's just like that day, there were a lot of weird forces at work that day, whatever they were. I won't say, but there was also a lot of good. Like I know that the people that were trying to work with me were actually really good people. They tried their darndest to get me up there, and I just couldn't go. They could not move me, But anyway, I let go and I surrendered, and I just trusted the divine universe and just trust divine flow to turn it into something beautiful, turn it into a gift, and they did. I'm working on trusting the divine universe about this surgery. I know they're going to have to do something to give me my life back. But that's the story. It's just a small one, but that is the most recent thing.
This that was 3 weeks ago to the day, February 29th, right?
Oh, it was, wasn't it?
Yeah. And when you surrendered and you felt that comfort, did it feel like Creator was there catching you and that you were safe? That you would be safe? Yeah.
And it even felt like another time I surrendered, like a month before that, about another thing. I literally saw and felt like a warm gold white light, and I felt like a hand. I felt like a hand with a white feather catching me.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. It was
Wow.
a vision.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. You know, I got into a car accident, I don't know, gosh, 20 years ago. And I had some whiplash in my neck, and I couldn't get rid of this pain. Finally, I went to a chiropractor. And what he did, this is not medical advice, it's just an experience. Get that out of the way. But what he did was he took an ultrasound and he cranked it all the way up. And he put it on top of that spot that the pain was coming from. And I did this for about 2 months, and the pain was gone. And it has been gone ever since. I don't know if he deadened the nerve that was there creating the pain, but I haven't had pain since.
Oh,
Not
wow.
advice, but I do have an ultrasound machine.
Oh, okay. That's good. Yeah, I'll look into that.
Well,
I appreciate that.
it's not medical advice, so you do with it whatever you want. So, and thank you for sharing, Lisa. We appreciate that. Susie, what you got for us?
I have a couple at least, but
All right.
I'll go to the first one that I can recall. Was approximately 29 years ago, and I was in a very bad relationship. And that one night, the last night that I was there, we got into a big fight, and I went into the bathroom, and I was very, very, very upset, obviously, and at my wit's end. And I heard a voice in my head, you don't have to live this way anymore. And I'm like, okay. Okay. And I ended up leaving that night and going to a relative's house. And the next day coming back, grabbing some things, and then heading out to the other side of the state to another relative. But it was a very tumultuous relationship. But anyway, to be that stressed out and to be like, I couldn't think anymore. I couldn't think straight. My emotions were running high, and this voice was very calm. You don't have to live this way anymore. And I'm like, oh, okay. And yes, it did feel like a big burden was lifted off my shoulder, because here I am trying to make something that is an impossible relationship work. It would never work. It didn't matter how much I tried or how long I stayed. And so it was a big relief. Or like, okay, I've done everything possible that I can. Now I have to think about myself and my 2 children. And it's okay for me to leave. It's basically what it was telling me. It's okay. It's fine. You're going to be fine. And it really did lift it right off. And I'm like, okay, no matter what comes next, I never have to come back here again. There was another one that happened later, but this one I think was very important. It was like the beginning of a big change in my life. And even though it wasn't the end of the struggling, that never ends. As I don't mean it like that. I mean, like, it was the beginning of the end. I'll put it that way. That was like the first step, knowing that it was going to be okay. I was going to make it somehow. I couldn't see how, but it didn't matter. It was like, go ahead, girl, you can do this.
It's the whole power of surrendering is just amazing. Did you also get that feeling, like many of us have had, that when you surrendered and you fell back, you just knew that you were going to be safe and
I was going to be okay. Even though I didn't know what was going to happen next, I kind of knew, but I just like, all right, it's all in your hands. Just take it step by step, the next step, and it happened. It worked. So, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's beautiful. You had another story. You can share that with us.
Oh, as you may know already, about 3.5 years ago, I think was the last time. This also has to do with my children. All of a sudden, all the political stuff going on, all the cultural crazy stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
Both my kids started sending accusations my way out of nowhere, it seemed like to me. And then they got into it with my husband as well. So I was in the middle of the three of them. I'm like, so to protect myself, I just backed off, and I didn't cut them off necessarily, but I did not communicate with them to protect myself, basically, because every time they were throwing, it was like they were throwing flaming arrows at me. And I just did not understand this at all. So during that whole 3-year period, I kept asking different people, are they going to come back? Are they going to come back to me? Everybody reassured me, yes, they will. They'll wise up, they'll see what they did wrong, and they will come and apologize. So about a year ago, and it was a little over a year ago, my dog, I had to have him put down. Well, I told my girls, and they sent me this plaque. Hold on.
Real quick, Allie's not feeling well. She's
okay.
and so she's not going to be joining us.
It's a brick, and it's for my dog. Oops. Woo.
Oh, it's a husky.
It's a husky, and I'm like, I'm looking at this, and I'm like, who sent this to me? Oh, come on! Nobody has a picture of him but my girls.
Mm-hmm.
So I contacted my one daughter, and I said, did you send this to me? She said, yeah, me and Kira did. And I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. And then that opened up communication with us again. But before that happened, even though I kept asking, I got to a point about 2.5 years where I'm like, you know what? I don't like this. It doesn't feel good. I really want to be in my kids' lives. But whatever the universe says, I will accept it. And it made it a little bit easier, even though, we still weren't talking. But, and then it happened, like everybody said, they'll come back. And they did. So they're back in my life again.
It's almost as if a magic wand was waved to change the situation.
Yes, because
he surrendered.
Because they grew up with it. That was their first dog too. It was my second dog, and so I had him for 16 years. So they grew up with him. Mm-hmm. And it really bothered them that they weren't here, and they didn't. I did tell them he wasn't doing well, but whatever. I just had to trust at that point. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to stress about this anymore, and it did make my life a lot easier. Whatever comes. Everybody wants to be close to their children, and sometimes it doesn't work out. It is what it is. I mean, it could be like a perfect stranger when you think about it. I'm one of 7 kids, and we're all very different from each other. But I know my mom loves each one of us, and I could never, like I have always said to my husband, I could never do that to my mother. She's old. That would just break her heart. But I think the kids realized how hurtful it was, and they wised up. I'm not saying we're right or we're wrong in our opinions. It's just like, and I did tell my one daughter, I said, no matter what happens in the world or in our lives, if we don't agree, it doesn't matter. We don't have to agree on everything. I don't know 2 people that do. So when you expect that, I think you're expecting something that is very rare. You could have an identical twin. I don't know. I don't know how well they get along, but it was heartbreaking. But I just had come to that point where, whatever is okay with me, I will learn to live with it. If I could never see them again, it would break my heart, but I'm just going to let it go. And it really did make things easier.
It makes you wonder. I'll just put this out there to everyone, and as well as in the chat. How much do we worry about things that are really out of our control, and they'll probably work themselves out without us worrying about that. And how many years do we lose off of our life worrying or overthinking about certain things? Because, you know, many of us are type B personalities, but we think a lot. You know, we might ruminate over the same thing time and time again. So I just put it out there for everyone.
All right.
Okay.
Where's Phil?
Well, that's what you get when you get a bunch of introverts. That's okay. Yeah, I'll never forget one of the shows I did on N5D radio. It might have been my second or third show, and it was on introverts. And we had a call-in number, and nobody called in. Why would they?
How about that joke? I went and knocked on the door of the psychic, and she said, "Who's there?" And I left. Because she should have known it was me.
Right. Shouldn't you know? Right? Is Allie gonna be okay? Yeah, she will. She had a rough day, and actually a rough week, you know, with putting herself through a lot. And you guys all know that she overdoes it all the time, and she wants to make sure that everyone else is taken care of. That's her motherly instinct before she takes care of herself. Even like on Sunday when she does the weekly tarot show, she had a long day and she was in severe pain. You could see it in her eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And but she had to do it because she wanted everybody to have their readings. So that's what such a beautiful soul she is, you know, and I'm very lucky to call her my wife. Is there anything anyone would like to wrap up on before we head out?
Well, I'm saying that I'm sending healing to Ellie, healing love energy.
Thank you. Yeah.
And that's one thing Ellie had to learn. That there are moments she has to surrender and take the time. Because when you have that much pain, and you can get over it a ton of times, but then your body eventually says, it's me time. Otherwise, it will not stop. And that's a part of surrendering too.
And she puts everybody else ahead of herself. And, you know, and you're right. That is part of surrendering. And she needs to, you know, value her own health at this point, you know, with as hurting as she is over trying to please everyone else, myself included. And I've told her that. But she's just such a loving soul, and we're all so blessed to have her in our life.
And I also understand, because when she starts to do readings or whatever, it gives us so much energy that it takes a lot of the pain away.
Perhaps, but other times she's rocking,
Yep.
you know, to compensate for the pain. Yeah.
But it does help because she does get the energy from it. But yeah, afterwards, then because it feels better, you go on longer than you should. And that's when it hits you in the face. You cannot even say it hits you in the back. It's in the face.
Well,
I know.
We're all better off with her in our lives. So
absolutely.
definitely.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
She's you know, an amazing part of the N5D family, and we all welcomed her in with open arms, and can't say enough good things about her. Anyway, let's wrap it up there. Allie, are you there? I see you turned your microphone on.
I hear her.
Your camera's off.
I'm here. I'm here. You just you blow me away. Thank you for all your kind words. Yeah.
We love you.
We love you, Ellie.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, we love Allie.
And the energies at the moment are at a point that anything that doesn't feel right in your body amplifies.
Yeah.
It's,
The
it's
middle of my
emotional,
back.
it's emotional pain at the moment. There's been so much going on.
Yeah. Lots of love to you, honey. I'll give you a
Yeah.
shout a little after the show. And we're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna wrap it up there, guys. Much love to everybody that joined us here live. You guys rock. Takes courage to do this, and you guys have it. Thanks to everyone that's in the chat that joined us as well. Hopefully you'll jump on here one of these days and join us here as well. And thank you to everyone watching on the recorded version as well. So until the next time, sending you all infinite love and light from our hearts to yours out there. Take care, everyone. Much love.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.